You can also easily save money on your purchases, like on your electronics, clothing, and groceries as well. So many congratulations for that.
Thank you for the congratulations. I really appreciate it.
Bobby's Commute!
Today on the program, we're going to talk with Justin Johnson. He's a filmmaker I've known for a long time now, and he recently had brain surgery. I'm not shitting you. This really happened. And I haven't spoken to him since. So we're going to check in to make sure his brain still works. That's important to me.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, dude? We haven't talked since your brain surgery. And then I was like, what a great piece of content this would be, right? You sound like yourself.
I really have, I think in the last month, just continued to feel better. It would have been just not like word salad, but like I didn't really like understand words for like a couple days.
Really?
I had pretty bad. Yeah, I had pretty bad aphasia, is what it's called. So aphasia like just affects my ability to like understand words and like communicate. So I would have a really hard time concentrating on anything that's text-based or just like trying to like make myself be understood.
And we should back up. What happened?
Sure. The origin story.
Yeah.
So basically I've never really been able to correct a 20/20, and so that's always been like, even as a kid. Recently I was getting my eyes checked, and the specialist looked at my readouts and he's like, well, you kind of have this thing that's like seems like a reverse glaucoma or something like that. It just didn't really make sense. And he said, you know what, I'm going to schedule you for an MRI. It's going to feel like a rush. It's not a rush. There may just be some benign brain tumors that are affecting your optic nerve, maybe causing some kind of pressure that is just making you not be able to correct to 20/20. And so that was January of this year. And so we scheduled an MRI for Super Bowl Sunday. Showed up that morning, got my brain scan. I was whatever. I'm like, this is just some random thing I'm doing, like, whatever. Like, I don't really, guess I kind of care what happens, but it was just more or less like, okay, let's do this for fun, and I'm sure I'll never be back here again. And so that night, I got the results of the scan, and the first word on the results was unfortunately, which is never a great first word to read when you're looking at MRI results. And so basically it said, unfortunately, totally unrelated to the vision issues because of the location of the tumor. But I had an egg-sized brain tumor that was on my right frontal lobe. It's on my left side of my head if you're facing me, but the brain terminology, it's on the right side. So yeah, that was like, I think the last couple months have been just like a series of existential gut punches is kind of how it's felt.
Oh, fuck. I just lost Justin. All right. Sorry, everyone.
I'm back. I'm back, baby.
Sorry about that.
It's part of the car fun experience. So yeah, I was just trying to like put the text of this written MRI report in, just to try to like understand what the heck was going on. And certainly something that's like the size of an egg is not insignificant brain tumor. I mean, that's huge. And when I did finally get to see the images and I met up with the surgeon, it was interesting because it really was like it was trying to get out of my head already. It was pushed up right against the side, which is good because if it was somewhere like buried in underneath a bunch of stuff, like it could have been a lot harder to operate on. But this was like right on the edge of my brain area, my brain zone. So that was super scary to get that result. And then basically went from like a series of hypotheticals where I'm like, okay, well, I guess I have this brain tumor. I have no idea what it looks like, and it's in there, and I don't know what the deal is. And so the diagnosis was initially, it was they said, quote unquote, like low grade oligodendroglioma, which I hadn't really, I guess, like thought to look it up or whatever. But that was the surgeon, and he showed me actual pictures of the tumor and the scale of this thing, and just being like, oh my gosh, like that has to get out. That this has to be removed. And so I think from then I was like, okay, well, what are the next steps? And he said, well, we want to get you into an awake craniotomy in 4 to 6 weeks. And I was like, oh my God, like 4 to 6 weeks, like that became this other timeline where it's like, I have this brain tumor, but then it's 4 to 6 weeks. Well, that's soon. And so I think the next kind of existential gut punch was when I actually got a date for the surgery, which was April 9th. That became even more real to me. So yeah, that's how the brain tumor arrived. I never had seizures. I never had anything that would scream brain tumor beforehand. And these things are discovered accidentally. Like I'm not the only one that this has happened to, but...
Did you feel like you were yourself 5 days later, or were you feeling like you were that you didn't have all your faculties at that point?
I definitely felt really limited. And so those first, like, it's weird because it's like, I went in that morning and had the surgery, and they removed the tumor. It was fully removed, fully resected is what they say, in about 2.5 hours. And so during this surgery, they basically have this iPad, and they're showing me pictures of, it's a picture of a squirrel, it's a picture of a stapler or whatever. And so as I'm awake and my head is open and they're going in and they're removing this tumor, they're quizzing me and making sure that like I still function. And so what was pretty unnerving was that essentially what they do, my understanding is that when they're doing a brain surgery, they'll go in and they'll kind of like use electricity to numb a certain part of the brain, which will turn it off essentially. And so at certain points they'd be swiping through the iPad and then what's this, and then they'd numb an area, and then all of a sudden like I would just glitch out.
Oh my God.
I couldn't read, I couldn't understand what I was looking at, and my vision would just sort of tick. It would like drift and tick to the right, so it would keep like ticking right, and I would just go like I couldn't talk anymore. And so then they'd basically say, okay, well, I guess he's using that part, let's not cut that.
Jesus.
Right. And so that's what those 2.5 hours were, was like really making sure that they're able to get it out. And thankfully it was fully removed. Some people have this type of surgery and they can't get it all, and that's based on location and a lot of other factors. So yeah, going in, right, I felt myself nervous, and then it's hard to like pinpoint like when during that surgery did I like kind of break a little bit, because it was a while, until at least like 2 weeks, until I felt the beginnings of being able to like really put words and like other things together.
Wow. In the moment when you're having surgery like that, and you said like you can't read or anything, but do you feel like lizard brain stuff of like just scared? Like, are you just purely scared? Like, what is it? I'm trying to like wrap my head around areas of your brain going dark and what you're kind of left with.
I really went into the surgery with a mindset of curiosity over fear.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, I'm awake, but I'm still medicated. So like, I don't remember them using the bone saw to cut my head open.
Jesus Christ.
But like, I mean, it's real, right? But like, I gave my phone to like a medical student who was at the surgery, and there's definitely footage of them doing that. So
God.
I don't remember that because I think they kind of just put me down a little more. But yeah, so I wasn't really like lizard brain. I wasn't really feeling fear necessarily. I think there was still a lot of nerves, but as I was just in that moment experiencing it, it was uncomfortable because I'm screwed into this whole harness and whatever. But I just was like, okay, well, this is happening now, and I hope that they all do their job, and let's just get this over with. But it's certainly a weird moment to be in, and obviously what's like, I don't know if I'm nervous about it, but I do know like there may be several more brain surgeries in the future, and I guess now I know what to expect.
Yeah. Well, I will say one of the things that, not to blow smoke up your ass, but one of the things I've always admired about you was that I feel like you are very positive, and maybe this is all front, but you always struck me as someone who's very positive. I think at one point I joked, you're like my Jiminy Cricket at one point.
Yeah, that's right.
We've known each other for a long time.
Right.
I don't know. When did we meet? 2007, 2006, I don't know, something like that. We don't know. We don't have to talk about how old we are. But basically, it was before it was before YouTube existed, and we would I would put up videos. We would like zip real audio video files, or whatever that format was. Real media,
baby.
Yeah. And it would be a zip file that you had to download. It was a whole rigmarole. But anyway, you've always been very like, you're not someone in my estimate of you, you're not someone who like talks a lot of shit about people. You've always, at least that's the way I've felt about you. And so when you've gone through this challenge, the way you've been very open about it, and you've been like documenting it and putting it out on social media and stuff like that. And I don't know. I think for me it was just like, okay, how does a person like Justin, who in my mind is a very optimistic person, how do you deal with something that's so... Because you're also a new dad. I mean, this is, this is a lot. So, like, how did you deal? Like, did it help to do social media? Like, to be...
I think so. I mean, I think to be transparent about especially the early phases of it. And so I also was going into it more or less thinking that we'll have this surgery, we'll get the tumor out, and then I'll kind of be done with it. What happened was the doctor, this is, again, probably that first week after the surgery, but the doctor they revised the biopsy of my tumor, and I'm barely able to read, like I don't really understand. And I remember in hindsight, afterwards, I'm like, oh yeah, he gave me that adjusted diagnosis, but they thought it was going to be a low-grade oligodendroglioma, but what the actual biopsy is a grade 3 astrocytoma, which you don't want to Google like lifespan of a grade 3 astrocytoma, because it's not going to give you the right information, but it's also sort of bundling like a lot of different types of astrocytomas together. So I was like, oh, I'm done. Cool. Like, let's just get on with my life. I'm feeling good. And then he called me, and Marissa was on speaker. My wife was on speaker as well. And, I was kind of like, with this revised diagnosis, like, do I still expect to like live a normal life? And he's like, well, if you die in your mid 50s, and if I was going to take a guess, if it's related to this brain thing or a heart attack, I would guess it'd probably be because of this brain thing. So, that's not like super lovely to hear. Like, I don't necessarily I want more than 10 years because my daughter's like 14 months. But I think part of that, like the optimism of it all and things like that is, for me, well, I'm not going to let any doctor tell me when to die. And he wasn't telling me I'm going to die in 10 years or whatever, but, it was sort of inferring that. And so I think for me, it's just like, well, I'm here today, and that's great. And I'm like happy for that. And I don't have any really physical limitations, not many. So that was kind of the beginning of me really like digging into and like understanding the biology of the brain tumor, just so like I had the tools to like really understand and like really know how to advocate for myself in the treatment phase.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like I had the surgery and then I'm meeting with an oncologist and I'm meeting with a radiation oncologist. Like I didn't have anything on my schedule outside of like occupational therapy, which I thought was like pretty normal. And so the surgeon, when I talked to him, was like, "Oh no, we got to schedule all these other things for you." And like, there's all this treatment. There's like 7-8 months of treatment you have to do and all these things.
Yeah.
So that's when it really sort of that exterior and I think interior as well of like, I'm good, it's all fine, like sort of began to crumble. And then really those first couple weeks of May where I was just pretty devastated. And I wasn't the Jiminy Cricket. I just was really alarmed with what I was being faced with. And I kind of feel though, like it takes me maybe like 5 to 10 days to like recover from one of these existential gut punches.
Yeah.
So, after like a while, I was like, okay, I started absorbing it, and certainly initially it's like all I can think about is brain cancer. That's all I can think about. It's the only thing running through my head. Literally and figuratively. So, and then after a couple of days, like I start to just absorb it. I know this is like who I've been. This brain tumor could have been growing for 15 years. Like it was so large, and actually wasn't like I was able to adapt with this tumor in my head to be completely functional with no side effects. So yeah, but I still wanted it out, obviously, and now I continue to kind of live with that, just like with my treatment that I'm on right now, and all the other kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, my wife's going through stuff, and the thing that I think the thing that is really hard is just never feeling like it's settled.
Right.
It's like every 3 to 6 months there's some sort of test that's suddenly alarming that could be nothing. And it's like trying to live in the world where we can't worry about the thing that hasn't happened, which is really hard when you have it.
Oh, it's very hard. I just had an MRI on Sunday, and I haven't gotten my results yet. So I'm talking with my surgeon and having my 3-month post-operative exam on Friday. So maybe he's just stashing it for me, and maybe it's not that urgent because it's only been 3 months. But hey, I'm same thing, right? Like for your wife and for me, like it just feels like every 3 months for the rest of my life they're going to put me in a tube and they're going to scan my brain and they're going to tell me if something bad's happening.
Yeah.
And it's just a weird cadence to have. But what can I do? There's only so much control I have in things. That said, they were like, they told me, they're like, you're probably like the healthiest guy in here. There's a lot of older people getting brain surgeries and other surgeries and stuff. But the nurse, before I was discharged, she sat down with me and she looked me right in the eye and she said, you're doing really good. That's what she told me. Yeah. And that, like, even though I knew I was struggling, like the fact I was doing so well hours after, I don't know, in scale of like intense surgeries, I don't know where brain surgery ranks, but like
I think it's pretty high up there, bro.
Really intense. It was really intense. So they discharged me, and we went back home, right? And my head was like this fragile egg. Every bump in the car, I was like, it was to go those couple miles was like a lot. Um, but I think for me, it just was something that once I knew there was a tumor there, it felt inevitable. I'm glad insurance paid for it, because sometimes people have brain tumors and they're like, oh, we're just gonna like let it chill, we're just gonna kind of see what happens. That would have given me so much anxiety.
That's
even
crazy.
If we're scanning it every 3 months.
No,
oh, absolutely.
No,
absolutely, right. And the surgery I had the cost was like $240,000 that insurance covered. So it's pretty wild. And like basically I had the call with the surgeon, and he told me about the updated biopsy, and that was pretty earth shattering. And then essentially he was like, we need to get you you need to like schedule with the oncologist and the radiation oncologist like ASAP, because I was within that kind of treatment window. And so I was like, okay, I'll do whatever I need to do. So I had a meeting with the oncologist, and she was really telling me, she's like, hey, there's a lot of really favorable markers in this tumor. So basically, like, my brain tumor, in terms of the I don't know, like its stats or whatever, there's a bunch of different things. Like, can it react to...
Wait, hold on.
Hold
on, Justin.
Yeah.
Are you about to brag about your brain tumor now?
Yeah, man, it's a flex,
I got one of the best brain tumors.
As I started to really look into the biology of the tumor, I was a grade 3 instead of a grade 2, because one number was the mitosis number, which is the number of times the cell divides, was a 6 instead of a 3. And this is a scale that can go up to 20 or higher. And so that was the one reason I was pushed into a grade 3 versus being a grade 2. So when they said initially it was a low grade tumor, that's what they mean, like a grade 2 tumor. Yeah. So then I was pushed into the high grade tumor, which is a grade 3. And so even if it was just one thing that was 3 numbers over, and every other thing was more leaning towards a grade 2. Also, like, this thing had been growing in my head for who knows how long and hadn't really affected me cognitively. And so I really started going down the wormhole of understanding, okay, these are all the data points about the tumor. I wanted to really understand it and understand what my next steps would be. So there was a lot of research after talking with that oncologist. And so when I met with the radiation oncologist, they were basically going to just put me down a funnel of 6 weeks of radiation, and then it was going to be 6 months of chemo. And it just didn't sit right with me. And I just felt like there just was a lot of pressure, and there was a lot of scare tactics. And they're seeing people all the time, and they're just like, hey, you have this thing, we're going to funnel you through this particular process. And I was like, hey, I really need to get a second opinion on this. And I'm like, for now, I don't want to do anything. That's what I said. And I'll tell you, when you tell a doctor that's super scary. It was really, really scary for me just to say, let's take a pause here. And I don't just want to get funneled into radiation right now. I just want to understand, I feel like I know my tumor, my biology pretty well. I don't need to get scared into doing something specific. So I went to a cancer hospital in Chicago, and then I went to Mayo, and I really liked the people I talked to at Mayo, and they said there's just a new drug that was approved at the fall of last year that is meant to basically work with the biology of my tumor and sort of put it on pause. And that was something that was listed as a treatment option on my radiology report of the tumor. And it's something called Voranigo. And so I knew it was an option, but then I would ask the doctors I was talking to at first, I was like, well, what about this? And they'd say, well, that's not an option for you, because I was a grade 3 and not a grade 2. And so the doctor at Mayo was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to see if I'm just going to like put this order for this medicine, which again costs $47,000 a month.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to put this in there and see if they approve it. And it was when I was in Chicago at the other cancer hospital that I found out that insurance had approved it, and I was able to take this. And so that was like really transformative for me to be able to know, like, hey, I know at some point the standard of care with radiation and chemo, like, it's in my future, but if there's a way I can pause that and like continue to get like good healthy years with my daughter, she grows up and everything like that, like I'm like, okay, I'd rather do that. And then, you know, there's stuff in my future that I don't know, I can't predict it, right?
Yeah.
So I think it all just gets back to like living in the moment and really kind of being forced into that when I can't count on 20 years from now, can't count on 30 years from now, but I have belief and I have an attitude that I hope can get me closer, because I don't know. None of us know, you know? You don't know. You could get in a fender bender or a fender bender that destroys your audio gear.
Hopefully not on this. You know? Yeah, hopefully not on this call.
Yeah, not on this call. No, exactly. But yeah, man, I mean, it's like, I think saying it's a lot is like an understatement. Like it's a ton, but you know, happy to be here.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing, because you I mean, your mom has gone through this, and your doc, the film you made, is it Mom and Dad's Nipple Factory?
That's it.
And I feel like, I don't know her whole story with her treatment, but I felt like she went a different path as well.
Absolutely.
You know, yeah. So I feel like...
No, I mean, for her, it was like and I also like made some extreme changes in my diet as well, similar to my mom, as like another way of just like, hey, you know, I don't know if this helps, but I'm gonna change my diet just so it's not gonna hurt, right?
Yeah.
So that's a part of it too. But I think we've kind of been contrarians in my family, and you know, that's just part of it. That's just part of it, I guess.
Here we go. All right, let's see what we got
to
here.
our new savings line, where you could save hundreds of dollars.
Can you hear me?
Press 1 to continue.
I hear you, yeah.
Okay, great.
Hello.
Hi.
I have your first and last name, sir.
Yeah, first name Dodger, last name Stadium.
Okay. So congratulations, sir. You're qualified to receive up to $100 shopping reward, which you can use at stores like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Home Depot, and many of your favorite retailers. You can also easily save money on your purchases, like on your electronics, clothing, and groceries as well. So many congratulations for that.
Thank you for the congratulations. I really appreciate it.
All right. My job is to explain each and everything to you and make sure your welcome letter goes to the right place. So I need to confirm your zip code.
Yep. Whoop.
What is your zip code?
Sorry, almost got rear-ended. Sorry, one sec.
Sorry?
No, I'm driving, so I was just calling back this missed number. I'm just driving with my friend Justin.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, the zip code is 90012.
Hold on, sir. It's 90012.
Yep, exactly.
And what is your complete mailing address?
It's 1000 Vin Scully Avenue.
It's 1000. What is after that?
VIN, and then space, and then Scully, SCULLY, space, Avenue in Los Angeles.
Okay, it's Win Skelly Avenue, right?
Yes, yep.
All right, sir. And could you tell me what your state and city as well?
Los Angeles, California. It's a big, big building.
All right. Uh-huh. Los Angeles. Okay, sir. Thank you so much to confirm your information. And I'm going to process your reward in my system. And I need to confirm I'm not talking to with minor. What is your date of birth? Like how young you are?
Oh, is that a problem?
Sorry?
If I'm under 18, then I can't get this reward?
No, sir. You must have be above 18 or below 90. So that's why I'm asking the date of
Me and my
birth.
friend just turned 17, and we're just driving around in my car, so I guess I can't get it.
I need to confirm his date of birth, sir.
Yeah, we were both... Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah, I'm actually 16. I've been lying this whole time. My friend thinks I'm 17. He's 17 and I'm 16. That's a problem?
Why?
I'm sorry, dude.
We're in trouble now.
You won't call our parents,
All
right?
right. Sorry?
You won't call our parents, right?
Yeah, so I need to confirm like you are not above 18. So when you will reach, if it is possible, you just, I just talked with her your mom, your dad. So if it is possible, so I can access the information and proceed the reward for you.
I mean, my mom doesn't even know I'm driving
So
her car right now, so I prefer not to tell her. You know what I mean?
When you will reach at home.
Have you ever seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
So when I will call you, sir. No, when I will call you. When you with your mom.
Okay. Thank you. Please
Okay,
call
when
me
I will
back.
call you, could you please tell
Just
me?
don't. Could
I'm
you
gonna
just?
get in trouble now, Bobby.
Yeah. Could you just make sure that you don't tell her we were using her car?
Okay, I will call you. Could you please tell me the time when I will call you and connect with you, your parents?
I mean, I don't know. This is sounding bad to me. I thought we
All
were just
right.
gonna get $100.
And you just okay. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye. You still there?
Very intense.
That was interesting.
I gave him Dodger Stadium match. I was Googling it.
I was suffocating laughter while you were doing that. This is good old-fashioned fun here on Bobby's Commute.
Well, thanks for having me. It's almost time for me to get to daughter duty.
All right, dude. Well, it was good talking to you.
Oh, I know. You know, I'm keeping a positive mental attitude. You know me. You know, and I think it's working.
I mean, you sound.
And
That's
so
why I
we
waited. I waited a
MRI
beat.
thing, you know?
I waited a beat to catch up because I didn't want to talk to a zombie. You know.
Yeah, I was basically that for a while.
I was like, let him figure out what his
even in the
name
last
is,
couple
and then
weeks, yeah, I can talk. I remember my birthday, and I remember today's date, and all that stuff. But it would have been not good radio if it was 2 to 3 months ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear you're okay, buddy.
All right, appreciate you, man. You know, I love you, and drive safe, please.
Love you
Everyone's
too.
gonna say drive safe when they go.
Drive safe. Yeah, maybe that's we're figuring out the format. Drive safe.
Yeah,
Wait, why am I telling
drive
myself
safe.
that?
Okay, good. All right, Bobo.
All right,
See you, bud.
see you, dude. How about that, Justin Johnson? Yeah, Justin's great. We've known each other for a very long time. In fact, I don't want to toot our own horns here, but we may have been like the first internet video filmmakers. I'm serious. There was like 10 of us. And Justin was always great about aggregating people, like getting people together. And so he kind of got people together who were making these films on the internet before anyone knew you could do that. Oh, hey guys, if you enjoyed the podcast, check out my book, Situation Nowhere. It's a comic dystopian book, and it's available on audiobook over at situationnowhere.com. And if you haven't subscribed to my Substack, it's free. You can get that at bobbymillertime.com. There's a bunch of writing and all that sort of thing. Thanks, guys.